Today we're going to be doing Tofino Trails by Alsoko22. I'm going to go gold tees and pin 2. The only change I've made to this, everything is standard apart from fairways and greens. I've popped to firm just because Highlands does this publishing bug. It won't really make a difference, I just think it plays more interesting if we do that. And it's pretty standard practice for Highland courses. So, alright, we've got a linksy plot. I quite like the little bits of planting that we can see around. Maybe a little bit patchy over on the left. The trees are a nice look. Wide kind of light rough, which is pretty good for CC actually. Transitions immediately leaping out something you can clean up pretty quickly. And actually the wide light rough versus tiny fringe doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me. I'd like to see those a bit more consistent. I like the way you framed it off the tee. Maybe would like to see those trees a little bit more clumped together, but it's fine. And this grass is probably a little too close. I like the rugged look over here, but it's probably just a little bit too close to the tee box. In reality, if you're mowing around here, you're not going to leave that there. Good look off the first tee. We've got a nice sight line. I'm playing master clubs, winds, etc. are all at default. My tempo is almost certainly going to be dreadful because I'm recording, but that's fine. Green looks interesting, it's a nice shape. The bunker's sculpted okay. I think we're going to see more issues with this as we carry on. What you really want to be doing is kind of lowering this bit down a bit more, so you've got a really clear high side and low side. You've done a pretty good job, but it's sagging somewhat in the middle. And actually if we come back to the one on the fairway, we see the same thing. Because this is the same height as this, you actually tend to see bunkers in real life and in game. The good ones are kind of 3 feet or so, probably more. Think about when you step into a bunker and how you're looking up over a lip. You're rarely going down into the middle like a pot bunker, which this isn't trying to be anyway. Okay, so we'll just hit down this side. Yeah, I've been getting all sorts of joyous slows today. That's fine. We're not playing for a score. But it's a nice little opener, and I mean, green contouring is interesting. We've got this little spine here. I can see if you put a pin there, that plays with interest. Definitely. Ooh, we are stuttering a little bit. That's okay. Seems we can overcome it. Oh, where was this tempo during my CC rounds, huh? And nice little park. Can see the lighthouse in the background. And there we go. I think with the bushes they're perhaps a little bit patchy in different colours here. Maybe you want to see, I mean you're going to see more of one kind of colour of bush linked together, typically. Okay, I'm not sold on the rocks, they feel a bit random, and I mean I don't get why there's one there near a bunker. We have kind of a split fairway. Cool green site. I like that you've left these bits of land. I think you can probably bump the bits of land up a little bit higher. They're very flat compared to the rest of the water. Okay, and we can see where you put pin 1. Again, I like that you've brought the planting in close. I'd almost like a little bit more of that coming down on like a diagonal here would be good. Same over this side, still looks a little bit patchy. Like these two rocks I think would go, I don't know, either this is beachy and rocky or it's grassy and heavy rough, and I mean some of these we would be clearing. Is just, it's all a bit haphazard here. It's kind of like we're just filling space because... Okay, you've given me an option, but I don't think this one's really usable, because if I go there, I'm going to be leaving full 2-wood in. I mean, I do like that... that's not a comment on it being a bad option. I think it's looking a little bit forced. Just in terms of this really narrow bit of fairway, I'd be wanting to see it coming down and here a bit more, just because it then justifies why the fairway and this bunker are here. In all honesty, I don't think you need this bunker at all, because no one's going to be playing down the middle. And actually, if I'm just hitting driver, there's literally nothing opposing me down here. Apart from the water, that'll almost certainly go fine. But yeah, I think you've kind of challenged a weird part of the tee shot there, because we're not laying up. We've also got a waypoint issue. The fact that it's giving me to here means that you've put your waypoint. Yeah, you can see you put your waypoint here, which means rather than giving me a shot into the green, it's putting it there. That's kind of irritating because it's making me change and it's taking me out of the round a little bit. It doesn't affect playability really. It affects some of the distances I'll get given, but something I'd try to clean up. Additionally, in terms of like technical stuff, you'll see that this fairway is just dying down here. We'd want that flattened out. It doesn't need to be dead flat. I am completely fine with a fairway having camber. That means if you hit this side of the fairway, you're in the rough. That's fine. No problem with that whatsoever. But this is done by accident. It's just fallen off because we haven't quite sculpted all the way to the edge. As you can see by the red slope that's popping up. Fairway shape, it's okay. I think there's these random little curves that I don't really get. Either bank them properly around the little mounds, but let's not go 100% pure curvy, but like draw more of a straight line than this. It's kind of just going in and out at random, especially like this little bit. Nobody's using that bit of fairway. Let's just have a neater, straighter line, I think. Okay, 10 mile an hour side wind. To be honest, if we're ending up here, that's fine. I like the way you've angled the green. I'm not so sold on this little portion of, like, I don't get why the green wouldn't just be there, or just bank a bunker into it, or bring the shoreline in a little bit more. I don't know. But it's a good look. I like the houses in the background. Yeah, not much wrong with this. And we're going to go down here. I think I'm seeing something with the green that I don't love. We'll wait and see if the slopes kind of confirm a theory. Yeah, I think we've got a low point in the green here. Yeah, you can see we've got this little bowl down here, and I'll comment on this on a number of other videos. It just means that a lot of putts are going to end up there. I haven't commented on the green speeds. 144 is a bit of a weird choice. It's set at exactly as default, so I don't know whether you knew you could change it or not. I think it's okay, but given that schedulers, if this goes on tour, are going to have 144 as one of their options anyway, they can just set to moderate. I put it up at 153 or 157 or something. 103. Who knows? Let's just hammer it. Yeah. Not used to playing on 144s. Yeah, same thing about the colour of bushes. It just feels like we've kind of got every colour under the sun going. I'd like to see, and therefore they're all just kind of there. I'd also like to see you sinking the bushes down a little bit more so they're actually meeting the ground properly, and you'll have a better look doing it that way. But yeah, I think sink the bushes down and choose kind of a couple of colours per spot would be good. As it is, that's nice opening 2 holes. I think difficulty level's about right. Okay, and so we've got waterway behind here. Little bridge across. Again, the stones. Like at this point, I'm starting to think these might be autogen stones. The way that they've just been left at such random places that I don't think you'd have ever planted them. Sightline is solid. Bunker is, I mean, pretty well sculpted inside. I think you've got the sculpting on the inside. I just want you to be lowering this bit at the front and raising this bit at the back. If you get into the habit of having a low side and a high side in your bunker, the rest of it's going to take itself because your sculpting is actually pretty good. Green has got interest, definitely. I really like the slopes you've used here on kind of a longish par 3. It's a good distance of hole coming off the par 5 we've just had as well, and it puts me kind of between clubs, which I like. And try and hit fast, and we don't get there, so we maybe... yeah, we're going to leave ourselves an interesting putt. I mean, the river behind the green here, I don't know, I think you could have done more with that. I think we could have planted that a bit better, highlighted it, because you've got like a nice... sorry, let's zoom out a sec. You've got a nice green spot here, but it's just kind of there. You've got this water and we're not really seeing it very much or playing into it. I do like the fact that you've got your one type of tree here and they're more tightly clumped, that works. A couple more bushes underneath the bottom of them would probably make that look even better. Go, go, go. I'll just move the mouse a sec. Yeah, par was always going to be on the cards after that. I think your main thing with the planting is rather than having it be it feels quite random at the moment, and let's have more of an idea as to an effect we're trying to accomplish. Like, yeah, it's just all kind of there, and it's way too close to the fairway here. You don't really tend to see that. Okay, and we've got, I think I've got a few more issues with this fairway than I've had with the others so far, just in terms of where you're putting different slopes. And this green is also sizably bigger than some of the previous ones. I think consistency in greens is something that's worth looking at. Yeah, these bushes are just, it's all a little bit too close to the fairway. Either, I don't know, if you're going to have this, let's have one wall of gorse all the way here, sunken down. Give yourself a little bit more space to work with, kind of. I'll try and find a bush that's about the right distance away. About to here, that sort of space is about good breathing space, I would say. And if you're doing like gorse all the way through here with a couple of green bushes thrown in, that would look really good. As it is, it just looks a bit messy. This fairway is pointless, because I'm not going to be hitting 1 iron. I'm certainly not hitting 3 iron down to there, and I'm actually, if I use that, I'm going more over the bunkers. It doesn't give me a better angle, so why would I not just hit to here? Yeah, I get that maybe I'm blind, but I don't know. I don't think this really... if I was able to hit driver up here or 2-wood down here, and this was the one that goes shorter but gives me sight, I think the idea's there, but it's not there in terms of execution. Again, we've got the fairways being a little bit wiggly. This bunker... well, I can't see it, so that doesn't help. Blind off the tee is not great. And... yeah... I don't mind the placement actually, in that if I'm hitting 1 iron, I'm either thinking about running through or I'm thinking about the bunker. I like that. I think the core of this is a really good idea. When your fairway's getting this narrow, just cut it off. Lop it off here, lop it off there, and let's just make it disjointed. It makes more sense. I mean, it's a tricky little... I like the short 4 where you're making me think about angles. However, the problem with this all is I can just go over here and hit driver as long as I want and actually get a better angle in that takes out all of these hazards. And I know that that's not how you meant this to play, but that's how everyone is going to play it, I'm afraid. And I've hit a really bad wedge shot and got on the other side of the slope that I had just given myself a great angle into. So I think, yeah, be mindful of alternate fairways and how you might block them. Up 2 feet. Oh, this is my own fault. I've hit that probably too hard. No, it's alright. I think what we are seeing with this is you've got a really nice variety. I think you've got the fundamentals down, and you've got, with this hole, there was a really nice thought of how you might set up that tee shot and the different options that there were. Yeah, I think that second fairway is a little bit forced, but the problem is that your second hole just allowed me to completely circumvent all of the strategy you put in. Sculpting on here is okay. You'll be able to do that better with time, the more you get used to the tools. No bunkers on this hole, at least near the green, is interesting. This stage I'm wondering whether you design Master or Pro clubs, or if you're just deliberately giving me an advantage, because with Masters I feel like I can just smash down here. Now I do like that we've got one type of grass here. Now I'd like to see even more of, and I can tell by how it's rendering in that you've multi-planted it. I think grass generally works better if you can single plant, make it a little bit bigger, then it will draw from further away. Chuck a couple of the big green bushes in, make the grass bigger, plant this whole hillside, it will look a load better. Because it's all just like links, you can kind of get away with this like unplanted bit over here, and the sculpting is kind of doing what it's doing, the little humps and hollows. We're just gonna hit down here and probably bounce on. Yeah, I don't really feel the bunker was in play there for, I mean, probably for pro clubs, and that's part of this challenge. I like the uphill green. I don't think we need to be blind. We're kind of dipping into a random bit here, and it's also kind of flowing onto the green. I don't know, I think this slope could make more sense, especially because you've got a hill down here and then it goes down and then up again. I don't think you wouldn't put that. Either bring the spine in and have it coming into the green. The more you can bring your big contours into the little ones, the better. Okay, yeah, 9-iron's probably good. Oh, there's the slow again. And again, I like these little bits of planting. I like the colours that you've got in Highlands. I think just space them out a little bit more. Yeah, somewhere there. I'm not... Oh, was a bit further out. I was just about to say, I'm not a fan of the massively... We've just got a very dead flat area here, where you've got little breaks all around. Just feels like you've missed a spot, because I don't think you would have that dead flat area. Okay, hole 6, our second par 3. It's another long one. I like this setting a lot better actually. I think the bunkers add to it. Your little fairway maybe a little bit... Actually no, I like this. I like the green. Kind of, again, with this though, you've got this really nice mound here. I think you could probably raise this part of the bunker up a little bit more again and lower this part, and there's some real sculpting weirdness here. You can see how the heavy rough is just riding up at a really direct angle. That's kind of a big technical slip, and it's because you have this hill, dumped your bunker in and then flattened down, and we haven't really done this bit. So just be mindful of that. Keep looking with a critical eye. I'd say with this though, we've got this mound here, and it could transition into the green, and like it would make sense. And standing on the tee, I'd be thinking, well, if I land this side of the mound, I'm going that way. If I land this side of the mound, I'm kicking right on. It commands my full attention. But actually, when we look at the other side, it's not doing that at all. I don't bring that in, rather than have it all flowing down towards it, and our low point being right here and then goes up again. I just think it would make a lot more sense and make this whole feel... The thing is, you want to be able to stand on the tee and predict what the ball's going to do as much as you can. And like, that might be tricky, that's fine. But you want to have an idea of what's coming at you. I think this is probably the club. Yeah, some of the little humps and bumps on the screen feel a bit too random. I don't know. I don't know if you really thought through with this green why it's doing what it's doing. Like, why is this flowing down to here? What reason have we got for this being a low point? Why is there a spine? Why is there the spine here? Where have you put a pin? Have we got one down here? Because actually by doing this slope, you've taken away all of this green as pinnable position. Whereas you could have had like mound running on with like a slope going slightly this way, and you've got a great pin there with kind of like a little backstop there. One here. One maybe just on here that's tough, and you play to one side or another. I don't know. I don't think it really... we've got a low point here where we're going to have puddles forming, and the ball almost always ending up down here because it'll always roll here and here and here, which limits our variety of putts that we can have. I just think about your slopes rather than just maybe dotting them around a bit more. Yeah, lovely. I didn't even check whether I was on the green or not. I think I was off, but I'm not sure. Wasn't really paying attention. Same things about planting here. Here I would just lose completely. It's dead in front of the fairway. Okay, and we've got options of sorts. This bunker feels a little bit out of kilter with everything else we've seen. Yeah, same comments on planting. Green is massive compared to previous ones that we've had. I'm not saying that we can't have a large green. I feel at this point you definitely play with pro clubs or design with them, but I could well be wrong. People have said that about one of my courses before. I like the little neighbourhood being up there. I think we could have done maybe a bit more with the extras, but I'm not judging on that. I just like that it's there. I think it fills out quite nicely. Yeah, this bunker just feels very different to everything we've had before, and I don't think at this stage you've really got a bunker style at all in mind. We've just got kind of random, not random, we've got fairly uniform shapes. They're not, I'd say, distinctive, but this one with that with the tentacle, yeah, I don't think we've had that before, and it doesn't make sense. And I don't, again, you wouldn't have the planting that close. I like the option. I like that. I don't know. I guess pro clubs in wind, would you go this way? If so, it's a long old approach, but then I guess the green is big. Should be able to clear it pretty easily. Yeah, this green feels just a bit giant compared to previous ones. I'd love if this part was just even more thickly planted. I think it would look great. At this point, I'm kind of wishing you'd used a few more varieties of tree, because I'm staring at just a massive forest of cedars. I get that this one looks nice, and there's a real art to be, because at one point you know I'm saying don't use all the types of bushes. Now I'm saying use slightly more variety of trees. Have this one predominant tree, but let's have a couple of others sprinkled in as well, and maybe have clumps of those trees. There are a couple of people who are masters at that. Terry Grayson, Reeb Doog, I think are probably the two best I know of kind of clumping planting. I'll go and have a look at some of their work. Particularly Fenyard Keep is a great example of planting within highlands. Oh, push that. Got very lucky. The hole is... Yeah, I mean, none of the holes have been bad so far. I think there have been tweaks to each of them that I'd make. I'm liking the variety so far as well, actually. I think I've had long 4, short 4, 5. We've had 2 3s. I'd have liked one of the 3s to be shorter. Okay, the water feels like it's come a little bit out of nowhere. But I don't know how I'd really change that. So it goes here and then it goes all the way down, and we'd seen that earlier. I suppose we did tee off over the water with our last tee shot. No, I think I'm being unfair there. This is fine. Alright, and we've got... I wonder. Let's do something silly. I didn't get fast. But I don't think that bunker is a bad place to end up. Oh, okay. I think I've said this before on a couple of others. The trick with a drivable par 4 is to give me a reason not to go for it. I don't think you've designed this as a drivable 4. Really. Unless maybe the wind is down, but I don't feel like... I don't know, having seen the previous tee distances, I don't think we're thinking about fully lofted fast drives. And at CC level I don't think you really need to. What I do like that you've done is given me a real challenge of, like, the water is there if I do go for it. And actually I quite like the bunker being there as well. I think that works nicely. Again, with the autogen planting I'd lose. I feel like it must be autogen at this stage. I'm really sorry if it's not, but it doesn't make a huge amount of sense where it is. Fairway, again, I'd like the slightly straighter lines. Give me maybe more space out here. Kind of bring it all the way over here so can give this bunker a wide berth if I want. I like this whole design. A lot, actually. I'd like to, again, the fairway edges I think could be smoothed out a little bit more, but this one works well for me. No, we didn't get my standard very fast flop, that's always nice. And it is a good point in the round to chuck in a potentially drivable 4 where there's possibility of getting an eagle. I think this is probably the easier end of the spectrum for CC players. I think if I'm being nitpicky, I'd like to be thinking a little bit more off the tee and on approach shots. It feels a case of just can I execute on this course rather than can I think my way around it, but it has felt varied. it's been understated. You haven't chucked anything crazy at me, but it fits the environment nicely. I'm enjoying it. Do I think there are things to improve on? Yeah, I think the sculpting would be my number one. Sculpting almost is my number one with most people. This bank is all very harsh. I'd like to see that taper down a bit more naturally. Frankly, I'd like to see this fairway. You've got it going right to there, and then plopped a load of bushes in front of it, and I can't even see where I'm going. Add to that when I'm going over the bushes anyway, I'm going to be blind. I'd look at your waypoints. Being defaulted to 1 iron doesn't make a lot of sense. Typically try to put your waypoint at around the 260 odd marks, and in a line where if I'm hitting driver it'll have space to run on, so that the game, because here you've put your waypoint here, which means the game thinks that, well, if I hit driver I'm going to end up there, therefore it will give me the safest club, even though 1 iron might still run through. If you put your waypoint here, it will give me driver again. Again, the little bits of fairway, like that bit loose, we wouldn't be going around and mowing like this and this and this. I'm not really fussed on the mowing part, it just will look better if you've got a slightly smoother curve. Kind of like that, although again with that I'd probably give me a bit more space there, or this is a great spot for a bunker. Put that there. Yeah, that kind of smooth curve looks a lot better to me. Now, can I carry this? Probably not. 23 up. Might be able to land just on the other side and bounce down, but it's not worth taking the risk. I like the pin you've got. I would love to see this bunker really just here and tucked in and maybe hit over the bunker, but that's fine. Okay, let's play as intended, I think, with this one. And we've got the slow. That's fine. The bushes feel they're encroaching a bit much on the fairway again. I mean, have we got some that are actually in? And that's in the growing into the light rough, which, yeah, it's dragging me out of the round a little bit. Oh, I thought I'd be able to go for this in 2. It's a bit of a shame. I think you've given me a really good potential second shot where I can we get there with driver? I mean, probably not, but let's have a go. Yeah, we can. See, I think you've got an option of kind of like the second hole at Augusta, if you think of that, but flipped. I think a great par 5 green is where you've got that sort of slope that you can kind of ride and get round here, like you think there's Sunday pin at that Augusta hole. As is though, I mean, we've made it, but nah, probably with wind it's doable. That was not a great read. Yeah, same thing on the putt. I like that this slope has been brought more into the green. The more we can do that, the better. So, front 9. I didn't really look at the scorecard. We've got 36-36. I'll look at the scorecard and distances and things again. At the moment, I feel like it's been nice and varied. Okay, and now we've got clubhouse area. I'll have a little look at that at the end. With a birch tree, not a cedar. Wowzers. So I like that it feels like we kind of had the inland 9. Yeah, the planting again, just why are we in front of bunkers? It's... There's a lot that I enjoy about this course, but the planting is definitely one of those things where I feel like it's just not there. Not yet, anyway. And the good news is that planting, I think, is one of the easiest things to improve. Hole design-wise, you've got one of those big bunkers that it's fine. I see what you're trying to do, but it's not going to be challenging me at all because I'm down 24 feet, and that's 273 yards, and so Masters driver is going to land past that, assuming it's not into the wind. Let's have what even Pro Club's going to be like at best here. Beginner, maybe, but we're not designing for beginners because we're on CC, which kind of renders the rest. I mean, we're clearing that by miles, even into wind. Which kind of means that bunker could be placed a bit better. I quite like the rocky outcropping out there. Could be doing it with... I think it could be done a little bit more naturally. Types of stones, etc. The lighthouse is cool. And I like that you've added a little bit more to it. Do we need if we had a fence, would we have a giant... Oh well, that's fine. It is what it is. What have we got down here? Ah, we've been doing some buried trees and not quite buried them all the way. I think if you're going to do that, I think with your sculpting, you will get better at this. There's a brush on the 4th page, I believe, in the bottom right that is quite good for coastline and things. Take that, make it quite small, and do lots of little moves so that you're taking it down about 3 feet at a time, then 3 feet, then 3 feet, and just get this land a bit more jagged, kind of cliff-like. I mean, I'll be popping this up to YouTube so you can watch it. Do ask if you've got any questions on that, and I'll link you to posts and things. I like the look of this approach shot. I'd love to see this bit a bit more planted, and we've now suddenly gone into it's like we've just found different trees on this hole, because we've only just, yeah. Don't know, I'd like to see the river a bit more planted. I think you've got the bones of a really nice approach here. I like the way the green is. The sightlines have generally been alright. Got my customary fast. Oh, Ben. Dreadful part. Ooh. Okay. This is what happens when you don't really think while you're playing. Now we're probably going to make bogey. Oh no, we're okay. It's definitely a course I could see being on CC in terms of difficulty. It'd be one of those where you'd feel you need to be birdieing every hole. But that's fine, we have those. Okay, we're starting to get into the experimental phase, I feel. Right, we've got the different trees which have... I was praying for them a little bit earlier, but now they just feel like we've just found it. This rock wall around the edge of the sand, it's a bit too uniform. We haven't really mixed them up or changed them, and it just looks very manufactured. Add to that the fact that we've done it all the way around here. I really appreciate the time and the effort, but it doesn't work for me. I just think... I don't think you'd see this. I don't... Yeah, either this is a bunker we've manufactured or it's not, or it's part of the beach, or... I don't know. I like the effort that's gone... I really like the effort that's gone in. I think the idea is a solid one. I mean, part of what's hurting you is that you haven't rotated them as you've been placing, so you've been going click, 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 without turning them around so it really looks uniform. If you're going to do this, you're going to have to vary heights and shapes and sizes. Same with the rocks out here. Like, I like that they're there. I like that the water's quite low. I like the beach being part of this backdrop generally, but we'd want some large rocks kind of in amongst them for it to make sense. Same thing regarding options. I don't see why I would go out here. Maybe it takes that little slope on the front out of play, but that feels a bit more by accident than design. You know what, let's see what this side has for us. Down 11 feet, 317. Let's just give the... Because I do see that actually this could be a better angle. Yeah, because we kind of take out that little yellow slope and we've got a little bit more green to work with. We've got the fairway run on. I mean, these transitions are... I am not kind of someone who will look for transitions every single time, but we're going in at right angles here. We can make that more smooth and just come around. There's some good tutorials. I think Mayday does one on how to do these a bit better. Should we go with our 7-iron and assume we're going to get it fast? And of course we get the perfect now. Go and hop on. And that's kind of why we changed the terrain to firm, because otherwise it would just die. Yeah. Again, variety's been solid. 183. I'm hoping that your last par 3 is quite short, because we've had 180 is mid for us, isn't it, really? But we've had two pretty long ones. It'd be nice to have a short. Again, I like the beach. I think this, yeah, and you can see that you've raised the land to meet the rocks rather than, and then you need to raise this bit as well. Just go flat and fuzzy brush, and you'll get used to all the sculpting things. You know what, I think all of the ideas here are really good. I think you've got a solid concept of the type of golf course you wanted to make, which we've seen some mixed ones. I think a few bits on planting, a few bits on sculpting would definitely help. Kind of evaluating the options a little bit as well. Now that's a push. That's a dreadful putt. Do I feel... I think I'm enjoying the round a lot. I do feel we could be adding a bit more challenge than we are. And CC is a really tough level to nail for difficulty, because you've got to be... You're catering to both Master Club users and Pro Club users. You're trying to add challenge but also allow people to score. So it can't be really difficult, and you've got to have bits of interest. This is the first time I've seen these buildings, and they do not belong on this course, I would say. We're nowhere near a city. It doesn't... that does really jolt me out of the round. Okay, same kind of thing with waypoints, same kind of thing with fairway going around the bunkers. Again, I don't really get why this bit of fairway's here. You can't land it there and stop it, and you don't really want to. But actually, the way you've got the green angled makes me probably... Not sure about this bit here and why it's dropping off, but let's say the green's kind of dead this way, kind of going straight. I think this green's a little bit too big. I'd probably lop off this bit, bring the bunker in a little bit more, and then we want to be challenging these bunkers and going as far this side as possible. If, say, we maybe made this fairway coming all the way down here, or even just get rid of this bunker, leave that one, because I think driver, yeah, driver there, if this bit was all fairway, and then I can hit driver out here, but I get slightly worse angle in and coming over that bunker. I mean, I think we've got the bones of a good hole here. It would be, again, sightline, like, I can't tell. I think you're getting away with a lot of the sidelines because the land is so flat, but we really want to be seeing where we're hitting. Again, I've got bunkers that are just completely hidden from view, which isn't what we want. You've got to be able to see the danger that you're hitting at, or see the hole, because you put in work on this, and you want to be able to show off all the stuff you've done. I like that we're back to the cedar forest, actually, and where you've got them clumped now makes a lot more sense. They're a lot less spread out. I definitely feel you're getting better with the designer and kind of more comfortable with the course you're trying to make as we go on. That might not even get there. Suddenly remembered just during my backswing that we were putting on 144 greens. Right, what else? Par 5, short par 5, lovely. Yeah, the cedars and the city, you just do not need it. Give us hills or something, like, especially with the mountain backdrop behind it. I don't know. I mean, is the BC big Colorado? It just doesn't... It really doesn't fit with where the rest of the course is, in my opinion. No, I get that. That's a choice. And maybe this is a personal interpretation, but... Oh, we're getting a few frames dropping here. I think that's the game and computer struggling a little bit. Okay, there were no real hazards in that fairway there. Same coming in here, there's nothing really making me think. I like that I would have had a better angle if I'd challenged the left-hand side of the tee, of the green fairway even a little bit more. Oh, was there a second? Okay, I could have probably just hit onto this green, thinking about it, which would have given me a better angle in, which is something I'd really want not to see. I think, again, just check your alternate approach angles. I wanted a fast. Oh well. This feels like it could be a par 4, almost. Right, drop it maybe by 10 yards. But I think we need... This feels a bit too straightforward for a par 5. Because it's now turning from a must birdie hole to like, you're going to birdie. So it's, can you get an eagle, and it's an auto birdie, and it's in that awkward, like almost a par 3.5, but it's not, because it's basically a par 3.8, because you're never going to get a 3. I don't know, you probably will. No, I'm talking nonsense. I think that said par 3.5 as a 5. Okay, we definitely have a drivable par 4 here. Drivable par 5 would be fun. And I like that you give me slopes to feed it down. I probably won't be able to drive it in this wind. I'll just be able to lay up short and then flop on. That's kind of what we do. Again, I probably want to see that front of the green a little bit more protected. Yeah. Let's just have a little look. What's the button? There we are. Yeah, because again, those bunkers I can drive out. I can drive pretty much out to the right. I like that you've given me that bit of fairway, so I could lay up here and go in at that angle. I just don't think there's enough danger around the green to warrant me not going for it. I mean, as I said earlier, the trick with it... Oh, bad. Another bad part. This is what happens when I just take... You can see when I take my mind off it, I'm not really thinking. I think the key thing with the drivable par 4 has got to be, am I in absolute hell if I don't get there? Or like, close to... Okay, so the last par 3 is at a decent distance. It's at the kind of distance I would have wanted it to be. 167. Again, green slopes feel a little random. We've just sunk this bit and sunk this bit, and actually I'll probably bet our best part is going to come from beyond the hole, maybe, or down in this little dip here. These houses I really like. These fit the environment just fine. The city buildings did not. They're ultra modern, and this is kind of like a laid back links. Oh, there's a swing line for you. Game's skipping just a little bit, but hopefully it's still holding up for the video. We're at -9 and I don't feel I've played particularly well. I think if this were on CCA, we'd be looking at like probably low score in a round would be -20, maybe, which seems ridiculous, but we've got one this week where people are shooting -19 in round 1. Okay, this all just feels a little disjointed, this hole. This is probably the first one that hasn't really worked for me. Why are we stopping the fairway here and not running it up, or running it around would make more sense. And then the green's giant, and the bunkering's better in terms of being in play. So I don't want to hit driver because I feel like I'd go through. So 2 wood straight is fine. Again, I still don't think we've really settled on a bunker shape that we liked. And it doesn't need to be 100% the same, far from it, but like a style would be good. And feed down that slope just a little bit. Yeah, I mean I like the green, it just feels a bit massive for like the amount of slope on it. I'm coming as someone who's just designed a course with giant greens. I've hit that probably too hard. I mean, you can do them completely, but it's about how big is your pinnable area, and here we can pretty much pin everywhere. Like you could have 10 different pins on that green, and finishing with a par 5, which is always a nice touch. We're coming back into the lighting, so well done with that. Makes it look good. Yeah, the planting, I don't get why there's the gap in the middle of all the bushes. Again, we're defaulting to 1 iron because we go through if we don't. I can try and hit the cap anyway. Oh, we'll miss it. Okay, which means we're laying up. I have no problem with that. I don't think it makes a huge amount of sense to lose the fairway here. I don't have a problem with the fairway choking down, but if you look at the shape, it's kind of illogical. You probably look for it to be a bit wider out here, but give you a worse angle. I'm fine with it choking, or put a bunker there or something, or lop off this bit. I don't know. This just going what is probably 100 yards wide to about 20 yards wide is a bit extreme for me. Okay, 234. Yeah, I'll probably end up in a bunker if I do that. Let's just go down here somewhere. Move the mouse again. And we're left with a lob wedge into this. I mean, I like that you've given me a good layup zone when I did miss my approach. Didn't want a fast. I seldom want a fast. Still, at least we made it through without getting any very fasts. That was pleasing. 16 feet down. Slightly downhill, and there we go. Oh, I didn't look at the clubhouse area. I was expecting to miss the final part. Okay, so we finished at 10 under, which I don't think I was particularly challenged during that. I'd have liked to have seen the difficulty up a little bit. I think you can do that. You have license to do it. Make a couple of the par 5s. One of the par 5s was long. I think that was the one that was kind of unreachable. That one was... I got their driver off the deck, did I? No, maybe it was that one. I can't remember. Par 3s, good distance spread. I think I'd have liked to have seen these two maybe a bit differently spread. Maybe keep the 2-1-4. That one was the challenging one. I think that one was a good length for the type of green you had. That one was a bit... The green was a bit funky for the length of shot you were hitting in. Only a little bit, but... maybe if we'd had one at about 140, or give me a wedge shot off a par 3. Something like that. Tees are spread out really nicely. That's a good sign. I thought the variety was good. I like the fact that we were more inland on the front, and then the back nine took us out to the ocean for a little bit, and then we came back in, and then we saw the water again. I think your main things to focus on probably be the sculpting, making the brushes really do what you want, and just checking you're not missing spots. With the planting as well, trying to make sure that's not encroaching on your playable surfaces. Finally, think about where you're putting your bunkers, I would say as well, because I don't think that they were always in play for what we were hitting. Be aware that a fast will carry a bit more as a downswing, so that's something you can use to challenge people. I liked the variety of lengths of holes. I think if you're looking across, you've done that really nicely. I think we're missing probably a properly long par 4. I think this one could have been it, and that looks like it should be long, but when you can hit driver 320, we're still only hitting 9 iron in, so you've got to be careful with those, particularly with wind. Yeah, I think aesthetics, I've talked about the planting a lot. That would be something that I think could really lift the course. I think the course itself is solid. There's some things I'd change, but the variety and the routing were good. I never felt the ideas were particularly forced. I think probably if I had one highlight hole, it would probably be that short par 4 on 8. I thought was nicely designed. But yeah, anyway, I hope this has been useful. Please do ask if you've got any further questions. I'll be giving out and all of these one more playthrough on a different pin before we do first couple of cuts. So if I've seen anything else on those, I'll pop it down in the notes. Anyway, thank you for watching.